rolling. We are rolling. We are rolling. What's up, people? How are you all doing? You're down here at Al's Drum School for this week's Rudiment of the Week. I hope you've all been keeping up with your practice. I'm sure you all have. Okay, guys, so we're moving through our multiple bounce family. So this week, guys, we're going to take a little look at the multiple bounce roll, or press roll, or buzz roll. Has a few names, this one. This one is quite tricky, guys. So we're going to go through this nice and slowly. I'm going to leave it with you this week to practice. And it'll probably take more than a week to practice if you're new to it. But just keep going, keep at it. You're going to be fine. So the multiple bounce roll is a roll consisting of multiple bounces on each hand. Now, I'm going to play a buzz roll, a multiple bounce roll for you as a sort of finished product. And then we're going to deconstruct how it is we practice in order to get it to that level. A buzz roll, multiple bounce roll, looks and sounds like this. So it's kind of like your typical drum roll. And the way that we build up to getting it to sound like that is through a series of different little exercises to practice how we get up there. First thing we want to do before we try and attempt anything is get our drumstick bouncing off the skin, off the drum head, okay? This is going to probably look quite far from the finished product, but trust me, stick with it, and believe me, this is going to get you to the final place, to the final destination. We want to start like this. So you can hear how it almost at the end has a little kind of buzz to it, and hence the name multiple bounce. We have multiple bounces happening each time we play a stroke. Now, what we're aiming to do is to learn to control those bounces, to control those multiple bounces and get them nice and neat till eventually they all sound very consistent and very similar as we go through. So once you've got that first stage down, the next stage is to try and learn to control those, or as the name suggests, or one of the names suggests, to sort of try and press them a little bit. Before we do this, I want to just talk a little bit about grip as well. In order to perform this, we have to change our grip a little bit. It's not a huge change. Something I like to do, and I'll often suggest to students to try, is when you're playing a multiple bounce roll or buzz roll, is that on your fulcrum, where we grab the stick here, just pinch a little bit, just to give a little bit more control over the stick. Not to the point where your fingers are turning yellow. Don't do that. That's not good. That's not comfortable. That's going to cause you pain. We don't want pain. Drumming is supposed to be a pleasure. Just pinch a little bit, okay? And that's going to give you a little bit more control in there. And by doing that, you can start to hear as well how the sound changes. You can hear now how they're a little bit more controlled. We've gone from where there's quite big notes happening, clear defined notes at the beginning, to this, the second stage. So you start to hear they're starting to get a little bit more controlled or pressed again. The final stage of this is to try and add a subdivision into this. So you can start with quarter notes, eighth notes, or 16th notes. It's up to you. Quarter notes is a good place to start, as it makes it nice and easy to sort of like steady yourself into it. That's going to look and sound like this. I'm going to count the quarter note. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. You can then double up those subdivisions and start making them a little bit faster, or more notes in there. As an eighth note subdivision, 3 and 4 and So it starts to get a little bit more of a pulse, a sort of tempo. If we then add another subdivision into, or add another set of notes, so we're making it 16th notes, we're doubling it up again, it starts to take more of the roll kind of shape. 3E and a, 4E and a. Again, there's still da, 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 da. You can still hear that kind of almost like, it's not an accent, but almost an accented note at the beginning. That will go with time as you start to tighten it all up a little bit more. The way that I personally like to think of the buzz roll when I'm playing one is I like to count it as 16th note triplets. Ba, 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 ba. Okay? And that gives me a nice sort of fluidity to it as well. And I'm going to show you what that looks and sounds like. So there you have it, guys, the multiple bounce roll or the buzz roll. Now stick with this one, guys. This may take a little bit of time. It's quite a tricky rudiment to learn, but a really useful one as well. Adds a nice texture to your playing, and we almost want to think of this as like a sustained note. That should just sound like all the way through. I hope you guys enjoyed this, and I'll hopefully catch you here next time.